Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, meathead. I don't need 20 grand or 8 grand or whatever. It better spread it amongst the other guys. Yeah, but so we took his existing credit line, we drew it down, which is absolute kosher. And we paid off the board some money, which everybody's appreciative. You give that first check. I used to, in the old days, I used to take the first cash distribution in person to give it to him. So when I put it in his hand, I said, open the envelope. That's all right, open the envelope. Or as they say in Kentucky, open the envelope. Open the envelope, and then they open it, and they see the zeros or whatever there. You own them. Roberto, who gave $10 million, he owns those families for 100 years. 100 years he owns them. You come home from work, and now it's time to tell your wife or your girl, but the boss just gave me $2.5 million. There's 4 guys. The boss just gave me $2.5 million. You own her family for 100 years. Because money talks and bullshit walks. Shekels work. They work from when they were meandering through the desert then, and they work now. I think they work better now. But money talks. Any questions? Or now he is a zealot. And now he's even not worse. He's even better. I almost say he's even better now because now he's even more of a zealot. But it does. It fucking works. And the more you believe in it, the better it works. You know, in athletics, not that I was. You know, a guy gets on a streak. He's got a hitting streak. You know. He's batting, in the last 3 or 5 games, he's batting 600. And the rest of the season, he batted 250. So his overall average is 300. And in momentum. And momentum, OMO, as they used to call it, is important. It's hard to get momentum going. But once you got it going, you do everything humanly possible to keep it going. Keep it going. And the things that he outlined sounded like a religious zealot, because he is. But he's doing a terrific job. And I'm sure the company will be the fastest growing in North America. The questions, comments about, I call him Reverend Tom. Reverend Tom, yeah.
So you do that for all sellers who have a line of credit?
Yeah, you can do it. There's nothing special about it. I mentioned it in a tape in 1995. And I mentioned it, and then he caught it, and then I mentioned it while he was in a seminar. And then I mentioned it, he came to the hardcore in January. That's why I say the guys that take the best notes, because everything's not in the slides. There's a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of templates in the slides. Some of the people, there's no template for that. You didn't look through the slides, did you, meathead? Not all the templates are on the gig. Some of the a third or more of the templates are in the slide material. But you got to go through the 2,404 slides to find them. And there's a reason I don't put them in any chronological order, because I want you to go through all the material. I want you to go through all the gigs. And if you remember what Peter said, he went home and he spent whatever time he said he spent on going through all the material. Now, some of the guys, I don't know if Peter translated it into Hungarian, some of the guys, I have a German guy who translated every single, I told you, he's got binders from here to there with every single thing translated into German. Every single word. And some of the guys, we've got a couple of Russian guys that did the same. But and he said it 2 or 3 times in 2 or 3 different ways. They who stay focused first and the longest win. Yes, sir.
I don't want to complicate it, but what if they don't have a line of credit? I know we want to close it quick.
Okay, well, I mean, you'll know that before you sit down with them.
But I'm asking.
If they don't have a line of credit, as far as I know, this is not against any banking regulation, but have them get a fucking line of credit.
Right. Okay.
Now, I don't even want to say that. Just have them get a line of credit. Have them get a line of credit. But I mean, it's an easy peasy way. And, a lot of the things I spit out are pearls of wisdom, but I've been saying them so long, they don't seem like pearls. That thing that's a finance 101. It's nothing special. I mean, they've been doing that for years and years and years. And if they have a working capital, they may also have a working capital loan. Fucking draw it down. Now, the debt the debt will be yours then, but you're not paying it in no seller finance. But then you will have payments on that. You will not have payments to the seller on the seller's note, most probably, but you may have payments on the line of credit and or working capital. But I mean, that's going to be de minimis in size compared to the deal. And your default or your way out or your back door or whatever, however you call it, is to finance it. And remember, when you're financing a seller finance, it's not a refinance, because it's the seller's finance, the bank doesn't consider it finance. So when you finance it, it's the first time. And if you remember big, tall, 7-foot Frank, he was doing it almost immediately, within a few days, he was financing them through a commercial bank. And then when he says, I finance 200%, which means double. If you did a deal for $1 million, you refinance it at a value of $2 million. Yeah. Yeah. And if you're in the USA and you're a veteran, you can apply. I told you they've got a special $250,000 deal. A vet can get a line for $250,000, no papers, which is pretty fucking decent. I mean, not pretty. It's extraordinarily decent. They didn't have any of that shit when I was around. The only two things, my pet is a deal I want to do for the vets, boots to suits, transition from military to not a job, which all the programs sponsor, but being an entrepreneur. And there's 41 different programs with the vets when you get out as a veteran. But there's only two that anybody knows anything about. The GI Bill to buy a house and the GI Bill to go to school. I used the GI Bill to go to school and the GI Bill to buy a house. I never bought a house that small, so I didn't use that. But for the regular folks, I mean, it's a great thing. But there's 39 other programs, vets, 39 other programs that are funded with hundreds of millions of dollars. But nobody advertises them. They have no budget to tell the vets. But so far I've been screaming and crying on deaf ears because they got other things that they have prioritized above that. But I mean, so all he did was follow the instructions, and he listened. He's a good listener. But I mean, selling on the screen. I used to sell on the chalkboard or the whiteboard, with them sitting, and I get a small whiteboard out of my car, sitting in the kitchen over that cup of coffee. This makes sense to you, right? That's sales 101. But that's hard. That's old-time hardcore selling. There's not that many people that sell that way anymore. But it's damn effective. It's still damn effective. Because you're getting you're getting the yes and the no's right there on the spot. And the only difference is that I didn't leave. Now, they used to tease me. Dan said it comes with a pup tent, too. He sets up a pup tent in the living room. He doesn't leave. Well, that's not exactly accurate, but I didn't leave. Any other comments about... Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, if it's got cash flow. Yep. Okay. Super. No. We say mature because most companies don't have any cash flow at that period of time. But I mean, as long as they have cash flow, and when you get a reputation to bring deals to banks, that the cash flow is going to cover debt service at some multiple, the higher multiple better, I mean, they'll always have time for you. Because they know they're not going to have to put as much time in investigating the deal because they know you brought them a decent deal. Most deals, that don't get funded because they're crap. They're not real deals. It's, the system is just, it hasn't changed in so many decades. But this has been possible since, 100 years, more than 100 years. 140 years. 140 years. Yes, sir, in the back.
When I buy a 60-40 deal.
60-40. Is this from a 4 big? Are you having 4 big? Are you having the...
Big
okay,
4.
go ahead.
When I buy a 60-40 deal. Now, from where I control the cash flow. Okay, I understand.
I know that may be the only thing you remember. Is you control all the cash flow.
Okay, but from what money I pay the debt service?
No, well, remember...
From the cash flow that I control?
On the 40, you're not paying any debt service.
Only
on the 60,
yeah.
You're paying it out of the 100% of the cash flow of the deal.
So what the seller is not...
Well, because that's just it. I mean, you're pushing out... First of all, you're pushing out debt service as long as possible. You want the bank, you don't want to pay the bank for 2 years, principal and interest.
Okay.
So, I mean,
But assuming that the cash flow is 100K a month and the debt service is 50K. I pay the 50K from the cash flow?
Correct.
And then the remaining cash flow is 50?
No, the remaining cash flow you put in your pocket and you run like a thief in the night.
Okay, just a minute.
Yeah, well, watch, you're going to read about him running like a thief in the night, and you're going to see on CNN International, Israel, Tel Aviv, Shylock, Shekels. Go ahead. I'll send them that picture I've got of you.
Today they do a post of me already.
Yeah. Poster of you.
Today?
Yeah. Okay, so ask the question.
So the remain is 50K.
Correct.
So it's mine.
No, it's not. This is... Yeah. I mean, this is not a system. Remember the guys I told you that are all running from the law? That's what they did, Except they didn't even pay the debt service. They just take, they were behind on the payments 4 or 5 months, and then they're QLA in the cash, and then they just run. No, you got to operate the business, I mean, you don't sound too sincere about, okay? Does Interpol go to Israel? Okay. I got a buddy at Interpol. I'm going to say, because when he gets caught, he's going to say, Castleman, 4 big Castleman, Dan Peña taught me how to do this. Other question? Okay, now, YouTube, goodbye.